iLead podcast listeners, I am so excited to have Gabe from Lagos. Oh my God, this guy is in a whole nother stratosphere with respect to helping you learn how to lead with biblical tools, software, and those kinds of things. You want to exegete? You tired of eisegeting? You tired of stealing sermons and going online like 12 o'clock Saturday night and dropping down stuff from sermoncentral.com? Well, Gabe is going to be the man that's going to really help you in that, iLead listeners. But more than that, all serious aside, all jokes aside, Gabe is extremely knowledgeable, extremely gifted in this whole area of biblical leadership and understanding that and converging those kinds of pieces together to help you become a better leader. So iLead listeners, welcome Gabe. Gabe?
Thank you so much, Bishop Dudley, for the opportunity to be here on this wonderful platform. iLead listeners, thank you for taking the time out to hear about Logos Bible software. I hope I can say something that will be compelling, something that will be endearing to your study as you are going along your ministry journey.
How did you get into this? How did you wake up one morning and said, you know what, I'm going to be this pinhead about the Bible software, or or you just kind of stumbled into it? How did that happen?
Actually, Bishop Dudley, there was an opportunity that came my way probably over 10 years ago while I was attending Elizabeth Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. I was the armor bearer of Dr. Oliver, and he then at that time and still today was using Logos many years ago. And my boss today came into my church in 2008 and presented Logos. So
wow.
Before I ever worked for the company, my boss did a presentation over 10 years ago, and I heard about it then. However, now you take that 10 years later, 2018, I was looking for employment and came upon Faith Life. And when I seen the job description, I said, Lord, this is me. It was perfect. And that's how it happened.
Wow, 10 years ago. Well, Gabe, the youngster that you are, because I got some time on you. I got some time on you. Let's go back to when I first got familiar with Bible software, probably Logos under a whole different name, was in 1992.
Wow.
Wow. Were you born then, Gabe?
I was actually headed to kindergarten at that time.
I figured you had to be my 1992 in kindergarten. Wow. Here I am. Let me share this with you and our iLead listeners. So I am stationed in Bigburg, Germany. I just bought a computer. The computer was a 486. With 3 megabytes of RAM. You don't know nothing about that stuff. And I was so excited with the fact that I had bought this computer. I'm going to be doing. By the way, I was an Air Force chaplain. I'm a retired Air Force chaplain, lieutenant colonel. So that's how I'm stationed over in Bitburg, and I'm so excited. I have this Bible software. I can barely write my sermons because I'm so busy clicking and looking and getting into one thing or another with Bible software and learning how to use things and Logos and the iterations to follow and all of that. That's how I got into it. And now I find myself with the guru of all gurus with this whole thing here. Ain't God great? Full circle.
Absolutely.
And so I really got involved with it then, and it really jettisoned my sermon prep and my biblical understanding. Yeah. Can you help our listeners as to, that was my experience. What experiences can they have?
Well, honestly, as a leader, when you are and I'm going to speak, and then I'm going to show a few pointers. But for those that are listening, I want you just to step into the psychological shoes of a person who's sitting behind a computer.
Mm.
You are now preparing for a Bible study or a sermon. You take the text or you take the topic. You type it in a go box and you click go. When you click go, the computer is actually walking to your digital library.
Wow.
And to you walking to your library that's on your wall. And as you're trying to pull out one book at a time to try to find a dictionary or a commentary or a journal, while you're doing that manually, one book at a time, Logos does that simultaneously to every book in your digital library, all at one time.
Wow.
And so Logos pulls up 30 to 40, sometimes 50 hours of Bible study, sermon preparation for you, and everything shows up on your screen. That right there is enough to say, I need Logos, because it's a time saver. Okay. Allow me just to show how you do that.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, please.
So I'm going to share my screen, right? And what you have right here is the command box, but we call it the go box. And if I wanted to study John chapter 4.
Let's do that. Do you already know what you're going to walk through with John 4? Did you have something already in mind with John 4?
I can walk with up. I can do
Okay, so then help me with my sermon this Sunday.
Okay.
Let's go with John 2, the wedding.
Sounds good. We do John 2. And so what you want to do, Bishop and listeners, is open Logos up in a passage study layout. Study layout. And right now, it's thinking. Right now, it's moving. It's moving. It's moving. And it's going to come up right here. Okay. And so what Logos just did, it has given you an entire layout, a passage guide of John chapter 2. All of your commentaries are right here. And what's new to Logos 9 is learning. Let me see. Is learning the type of commentaries. Now, you can set this up however you would like to set it up. I just have commentaries first, important passages, and so forth and what have you. But you can get commentaries written by the era, the type of commentary, expositional, exegetical. You talked about that, right? Look at all the exegetical commentaries. See, in Logos 8, Logos 6, and years ago, they did not show the difference of the commentaries. You had to find which commentary you was reading. Now, you can see that this is the exegetical commentary.
Yeah, because I saw the I have the ministers who I teach in homiletics, I have them to learn textual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This here is huge for the student. This is huge for the pastor to be able to go between the different types of commentaries, but even more. Bishop,
click on homiletics. Click on homiletics.
Okay. There go homiletics.
I am a pig in slop.
So for example, if you just wanted to open up one of these commentaries, right? It opens up to a small box. You can go to the Eclipse and then go down here to float this panel. So you float a panel and it opens up into its own page. And there you have it. You have the entire commentary, and watch this, Bishop. It opens up specifically John 2, where you are studying. You don't have it goes to right where. So is there a specific verse that you're preaching from?
I am preaching, well, what I'm saying, actually, I have the sermon right here. We ain't gonna take up too much time now. You done got me going here. Yeah, what we're really going to focus in on is the 11th verse, and because it's the conclusion of that whole piece. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there you have it, right? So if you wanted to they titled this in this commentary, the beginning of the miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee. And so it's different things that you can take, that you can read upon in verse 11. But this is what I want to show you. I don't want, like you say, we're not going to take up a lot of time. For example, if you wanted to, right, you can click copy. Go over to a Microsoft Word document where you're preparing your sermon, and guess what? Paste it, and we cite the reference for you automatically.
You mean I got to tell everybody that didn't come from me and the Holy Ghost?
You got to say it, man. You got to say it. You got to give the credit where it's due, Reverend.
I love this. I love this because when I was doing my PhD and I used Logos, and it was already ready to do my citations. I didn't have to fool with this, wondering whether I put the comma or the period, what have you. I just told them that I was doing the type of citation that I was using at the time, and it did it automatically. But anyhow, go ahead, man.
Yeah. And so in a nutshell, my point is Logos can give you, let me share my screen one more time real quick. We can keep it moving. Logos will give you commentaries. We'll give you important passages that's closely related to John chapter 2. What I love about this is you can't stumble over simplicity is important words. Sometimes we read and stumble over important small words, but they're really big in the text.
Right.
So Logos is pointing out important words, right, in John. So they're going to give you the New Testament Greek. They're going to give you the Greek. And so they're going to pronunciate for you. They're going to tell you how many times this particular word is listed in the Bible. So you have important words, you have topics, you have different themes that you can pull out, thematic outlines. Bishop, I don't know if you know this, but if indeed you ever find yourself needing some more content or wanting to go deeper to see what somebody else has to say about it to jumpstart your process and content, watch this. I'm gonna go back over to Microsoft Word. Let me clear out that comment, this citation. So I'm going to open up a thematic outline on the body of Christ, right? Watch this. I'm gonna open this up on the body of Christ. It's open, all right? It gives me a synopsis. It gives me points, Jesus Christ's physical body, right? Then it gives you subpoints, his birth, his bodily needs, his physical sufferings, his physical death. Watch this though. I can click copy. That same thematic outline then is pasted within your sermon in Microsoft Word, and you can build a Bible study, a small group lesson, and this is yours. This is a license. It's not plagiarism. It is giving you points that's true. It's giving you a text that's true. All you got to do is add your meat to it, teach it, preach it the way that God has given you the ability to do it.
I feel God right now. I feel God right now.
So in a nutshell, I can go on and on. You got systematic theologies, biblical theologies, cross references, the concordance, cultural concepts. The cultural concepts is helping you step into that day, is giving you what was going on in that culture. So you can study that. You want to talk about the miracle? There it is. You can literally click on miracle and you can get all the facts on miracles. Float the panel.
Now here's the problem, Gabe. Here's the problem. Here's where we got to stop all of this, because we are recording this. Our leaders are going to see this, and this is also going to be on my portal as an added value. And so when people come to my portal and they go ahead, this now destroys all of what people thought about their bishop in being anointed.
You done gave away the secret sauce.
I done gave away my secret sauce, man. You need to be quiet. Let's go ahead on to the next thing before you done tell everything.
Let's do it.
Well, iLead listeners, in all seriousness, I often talk about that you need to really study to show yourself approved. I often talk about the fact that if you sit in a barber's chair that has a certificate on the wall, or a stylist chair, and you feel comfortable letting them color your hair because they've had that certification in that, then one should endeavor to be formally trained, but at a minimum, be self-trained. And Logos is all about that self-training. You just saw a classic example of how you can come forward and grab all of that information and then bless the people of God with the revelation that God gives you. I want to just ask a question here,
Yes.
and that is, how has this whole software world advanced? And you showed them to a great degree from the days of which I had to go through, almost come out of the software to go get into my Word software, and then put a little cursor there and then click and then things pop, all of that. How far has this new version come?
That's a great question. Logos has come in any software that you're going to use nowadays. It's totally different from just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and definitely over 20 years ago. Logos has been out for over 28 years. And when it first came out, I hear it was on disc. I hear you could buy it out the Bible bookstore. You had to download it. Heard it took forever, took up a lot of space. It was just challenges. And I just heard it was just difficult to use. It wasn't truly user-friendly, even though it was still somewhat helpful. Now, fast forward over 25 years now, Logos is digital. You literally can purchase Logos from logos.com/the summit, right? Once you purchase it, you can literally click a button and it can download to your computer. You don't even have to have a USB. You don't have to have a CD anymore. It's literally a download. As long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, all of your digital books, all of them are downloaded on your computer. And so not only can you have software on your computer, Bishop Dudley, that same software, you can now transfer and use it, some of it, on your iPad and your mobile device. So you can travel with your digital library. You can pull it up on your phone. You can preach from it from your phone and your tablet. You can study certain topics and themes. So Logos has truly made this more user-friendly and accessible for the student and the pastor, the preacher on the go. You can have it with you. And here it is, we have training videos to where, for example, maybe many years ago, it wasn't as easy just going to www.logos.com/pro and getting all these clips that we have today. You used to have to maybe call in or go and pay for training. You can literally get training, look right from your phone, and Logos is more easier to use. It's user-friendly.
Wow, it is user-friendly. And to that end, can you speak and talk to the summit that we will begin? Really, it kind of starts tonight, but it goes on, and they'll have the opportunity to see not only your presentation. I want to encourage them, strongly encourage them, to purchase. And can you speak to that, as well as old school? You had to take those discs and put it on every computer.
Right.
I'm here in my church office. I have Logos in my home office. I have Logos on my phone. So can you speak to the summit as well as the other pieces?
Listen, the summit, what I would like for you to understand is, don't be overwhelmed with a software that you have never heard or you think is too hard to use. There is a place for everybody to get in and get you a library. You may not have Bishop Dudley's library. You may not be able to afford his library, but that's okay. You're going to see, if you go to www.logos.com/the summit, you're going to see different options. When you look at the silver library, that is a devotional library. That is a word study. Okay, you can get that for around $50 a month, $54 a month. That is a good starter library. You're not in the pulpit. You haven't said, you're not in MIT, no training. You're just at home. You with your husband, your wife, and you just want a library. Silver is a great place. Then you can move up to the gold library. That is indeed the ministry library. If you are a minister in training, you are a preacher, you're sit there at the feet of Bishop Dudley learning his style, his flow. You want to get the ministry. Bishop Dudley, we have a library package for those that are in seminary. It's called the Platinum Library, right? You can get that for around $87 a month and get a greater discount if you are in school, okay? And then last but not least, two of my favorite ones, it's called the Diamond Library, which is for pastors, and the Portfolio, which is for doctoral students. My point of saying all of this is you can get in where you really fit in spiritually and for your calling at a great, reasonable price, okay? And my point is, you can email me, you can contact me. My information will be shared on that, unless you want me to share it now, but my information will be given out to where if you have further questions, I can help you. I can give you the training information, and Logos will help you get set up, will help you download it and get you started with your digital library.
Let's share it now. Let's put it in the chat area, and let's make sure that people grab it now. I want people to respond. And that the stronger the leaders around me and the more knowledgeable they are, the stronger our church is going to be as well. Well, we're kind of coming to an end of our time together. I'm so excited about you participating and being a part. But I want to ask the question that I ask everybody. I ask everybody this one question from the governor to whomever. And that is, how do you lead in any room you find yourself in, Gabe?
Wow, what a question. How do I lead in any room I find myself in? That's a wonderful question. One of the things that I feel like I do naturally is I introduce myself to people. And not only introduce myself to people, I like to learn what other people do. I like to learn and listen and to see, is there any type of connection that can be correlated, that can come without, that can perhaps have a mutual business development. And then my leadership comes from introducing, networking. And I've learned this, and I learned this years ago. I usually contact my the new people who I met within 48 hours. I email, I text, I give them my information, let them know where we met, and I look forward to having coffee or lunch or a virtual meeting with you. So my leadership goes from the introduction to now leading from the outside by way of contacting and seeing where something could go. That's typically where I start.
Wow. You will be happy to know that I have asked that same question of governors, senators, CEOs, and you are consistent with what they have said. They all say, in order to lead in any room, you have to listen.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I'm on target. I am on target. Yes, sir. Gotta listen, man.
Gotta listen. Well, iLead listeners, speaking of listening, I certainly hope that you got an earful and you're ready to execute, you're ready to grow, you're ready to lead in any room you find yourself in. And I believe that you can not only listen in every room, but be equipped when you get ready to speak.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Gabe, for joining us on our podcast here. And we will be seeing you guys in the summit and beyond.
Thank you so much, Bishop Dudley, for the opportunity. iLead leaders, thank you. iLead listeners, thank you for entertaining Gabe Harper. I look forward to hearing from you and working with you. God bless you.